Disclaimer: this video is an imagination written by author's perspective. It has nothing to do with real life. It's only for entertainment purpose. I own the storyline and narration. So please don't copy and repost my work. Thank you. Wine, yes, I'm happy with my decision. Smile. You fake smiled, but Maya know you very well. She know that how broken you are. You are so hurt because you loved Jungkook with your whole heart and imagine family with him. You know that he is not at full fault. He is also a victim, and choosing between mother and wife is very hard. If you were at his place, you also did the same because for a child, mothers matter a lot. But you thought that Jungkook deserves some punishment because he hurted you and leave you in your tough time. So he deserves this. And Mrs. John also needs to learn a lesson. Meanwhile, Jungkook come back to his home and he was about to go in his bedroom. But Mrs. John hold his hand. Mrs. John, son. Jungkook became angry and shouted, Jungkook, Mom, leave my hand and please leave me alone for some time. She flinched badly after hearing him. He never shouted on her, but now he's shouting on her. Then Jungkook left from there and Mrs. John started crying and Jessie's looking at her with angry eyes. Mrs. John, I'm the reason behind all this. She didn't even give me my granddaughter to hold for once. Crying. Jessie, you are still thinking about granddaughter? Mom, how can you do this? You are also a woman. Then how can you do this with another woman? You kicked her out when she was not getting pregnant. Jessie, and now you expect her to give you her daughter? You deserve punishment, but Jungkook is just suffering because of you. You spoiled everyone's life, Mom. After saying this, she left from there. Jungkook come in his room and locked the door from inside and grabbed all the alcohol bottles in his room and sat on the floor and started drinking. His heart is feeling heavy, so he wants to forget all this. Jungkook, I was also victim. I never wanted to leave her, but that situation was like that. If I don't choose mom, then everyone called me bad son and say that I forget about my mom because of my wife crying. Jungkook, and when I didn't choose my wife, then they said I'm useless and didn't choose my wife. I'm a bad husband and father. Now what should I do? People didn't understand a man. They never see our pain. Crying. Jungkook, I was also victim, but no one asked about my pain. I also lost my love and child, but no one see my pain. Why? Because I'm a man. He's saying this to himself while crying badly. Next day. It's 10 a.m. and Jungkook didn't woke up. He is still sleeping on the floor and Mrs. John and Jessie both are worried for him. They are continuously knocking the door but he didn't reply because he is sleeping. They became scared because he is very sensitive about his family. What if he take any wrong step? Jessie and Mrs. John called the guards and they broke the door and then they all entered inside. They saw Jungkook is lying on the floor and there are empty bottles of alcohol. Mrs. John started crying, so guards checked him. Guards, don't worry, ma'am. He's just sleeping. Guards picked him and lay him on the bed. Mrs. John is feeling so weak now, so she also went to her room to rest, otherwise, she can also become unconscious because of stress. 1 week later. It's been 1 week and still Jungkook is not coming out from his bedroom. He don't eat properly and he started drinking daily because he wants to reduce his guilt and wants to forget your hurtful words. Mrs. Sean, Jungkook had his breakfast. Jessie, no, he threw that breakfast again, she said with teary eyes. Jessie went to his bedroom with breakfast again and saw Jungkook have some papers in his hand. Jessie became confused. Jungkook, oh Jessie, I was about to call you. Come here. She went towards him. Jungkook, this is divorce papers. I already signed them, so now it's your turn. Sign them and free yourself. Marry your love, Jessie. Smile. Jessie smiled back and signed them with teary eyes. Jessie, thank you so much, Jungkook, for everything. You understand me and continued this relationship like friends. Thanks, gentleman. Smile. Jungkook, all the best, Jessie, for your new life. Smiled back. Jessie, but Jungkook, what about you? Go to Vian and again ask her for forgiveness. Jungkook, she'll not forgive me, Jessie. Teary eyes. JC, why Jungkook? She'll definitely forgive you. Jungkook, maybe I don't deserve forgiveness. I'm useless husband and father. Teary eyes. JC, no Jungkook, you are not useless. JC, only I know how much you cry for Vian and how you try to find her in every corner. You was married to me but never touched me because you only loved her. So don't call yourself bad husband. Jessie, go and try to win her again, Jungkook. If she'll forgive you, then you'll get everything. And this time, don't listen to anyone, okay? She's saying about Mrs. John. They both hugged each other and say goodbye to each other because today Jessie is leaving this house and she'll go back to her love. Meanwhile, you. Maya come towards her and started looking at her face and smiled. Maya, Vian, she is just like Jungkook. Same bunny smile and same shiny eyes. You didn't say anything, Maya. Vian, don't you think you should forgive him? After all, he was also a victim, just like you. Your daughter also needs her father. Vian, Maya, please stop now. Maya, it's up to you, Vian. We can't force you, but just think about everything again. Don't forget that Jungkook was also innocent, who is suffering without any reason. After saying this, she left from there, and you started thinking about everything again. She is right. Jungkook was also innocent, and main villain was Mrs. Jeon. So why Jungkook deserve punishment? But Jungkook also needs some lesson, so he'll never repeat same mistake again. So you will not forgive him easily. Next morning you just woke up and did your morning routine. Just then you heard your doorbell ringing. You come towards main door and opened it and saw Jungkook is standing in front of you with a flower bouquet in his hand. You became confused. Jungkook, good morning, Bayan. This is for you. Smile. You didn't take it and his smile faded because you are looking at him with cold eyes and you shut the door on his face. Jungkook's eyes became teary. This is how 6 months passed and Jungkook is trying a lot to win you again. He always come to your house to see you and your daughter, but you never allow him to see her. A father is living without his daughter. Mrs. John is getting more sick, but you didn't allow her to meet your daughter. You are also giving them same tough time which they give you. You also suffer for 8 months alone. So now you'll also make them suffer. more than you. You forgive Jungkook but didn't tell him that you forgive him. Today again Jungkook come to your house to ask for forgiveness. Jungkook was sitting in living room and you were preparing coffee for him. Just then your daughter started crying, so you went to her room. You come in her room and picked her in your arms, but she didn't stop crying. Just 10 minutes before you feed her, then why she is crying so suddenly? You are trying to stop her from crying, but she didn't stop crying. Just then Jungkook come inside and come towards you and try to take her from you, but you didn't let him touch your daughter. Jungkook, when she's crying, let me take her. Then you give him your daughter, and you became shocked because when he picked her in his arms, she stopped crying and started smiling. She is giggling cutely in her father's arm. Your eyes became teary when you saw them happy together. Jungkook noticed tears in your eyes. Jungkook, Ryan, now please forgive me. Now I can't live without you and our daughter. Look, she also needs her father. Jungkook, please forgive me, Ryan, teary eyes. Now you can't stay without him. You give him enough punishment. He suffered a lot now. He also deserves happiness and his family. Ryan, Jungkook, I forgive you. You suffered a lot. I give you enough punishment. So now I forgive you, Jungkook. But promise me this time you'll not repeat this again. Jungkook nodded with happy teary eyes. Jungkook, thank you so much, Ryan. He hugged you and kissed your and your daughter's forehead. And about Mrs. John, Ryan didn't forgive her. She allowed her to meet her daughter, but Ryan didn't talk to her and didn't forgive her.